Happy weekend. I don't know who's around. Hey Sharon, how you doing? This weekend. Have a lot of work to do. So I figured I'd come on my mouth. See who's around. We had a lot of fun today. Oh my gosh. There's so many funny profiles out there. Hilarious profiles out there. Y'all keep putting all my friends in Facebook jail. I think y'all should stop. I don't think it's nice. I think y'all should stop with the outrage. Some of my best pages, best friends, y'all keep putting in Facebook jail. My good friends y'all put in jail this morning. All this artificial outrage. Gotta stop. Who we got? Kati! Good afternoon, brother Eric. Heidi. Navarro, Carol. I figure I go live on the weekend. It's weird. I don't get to really talk to the people who I guess after work when we usually talk about stuff. So I figure I'd go live and see what's going on. How are we gonna save the world? Are we gonna save the world? Do my best to avoid the alien topic. People keep pushing me, keep pushing me over there. Gina, happy Sunday, happy Sunday. Brother Robert is addicted to football. Wait a minute, Brother Robert, you here? You in the UK? Is it football or is it football? Which one is it? All right, who we got? We got Rosa. We got Brother Bjorn. Off grid is always a topic. Yes, and we should always talk about off grid. We always bring it up. I always talk about how to make people strong again. What do you mean artificial? Well, artificial outrage. You know, when people they pretend they're upset, they're not really upset. They're not. So I asked a question this morning. I don't have a whole lot of answers. I got questions. I was asking a question about outrage. Is outrage, is that something that we're taught, right? Like, are we, when a child is born, are they born with outrage, or do we win to be mad? You know, like they get mad when they don't get their Legos. They get mad when they don't get to get something. But I look around and I look at the things that people get upset and they don't get to get anything out of it. Like politics, they get nothing out of it. They get absolutely nothing, ever. But they get outraged about like silly stuff. And so in between all that dramatic, artificial outrage, phony politics, people with faith who don't have no faith, they pretend they pretend they have faith, but they really don't have no faith. And that was the other thing I was thinking about. When people like really have faith, cue the music down. When people really have faith, they don't get upset. They're not, you know, if you have faith, like it's not that you don't care, but you just trust, right? You trust in where things are going. And so just all this artificial outrage and silliness. And it puts people in Facebook jail. They're making posts. My particular friend who y'all put in jail last night, she's always posting on religion. I personally, I think her posts are hilarious. I share them all the time. I think it's funny, but I don't really take like my faith to ignorant levels. Like I don't take it to a place where it's like outrage. It's like, you know, my perspective on religion and faith is mine is for me. It's not for you. Like that's the difference. It's like my beliefs are for me, you know, because I believe aliens are flying around. I shouldn't orchestrate a society based on aliens are flying around. That's stupid. That's my belief. I can't prove it to you. You know, and the same thing with religion or anything else. Like we have things that are true, and we have things that we just want to be true. We have things that are kind of true, and things that are based on like they're based in some truth, right? Some things are true, but the whole picture hasn't been proven to be true. You know, and maybe that's a good one for religion. Like we know a lot of the cities are real. We know a lot of the people were real. We know a lot of the philosophies and love each other and take care of each other, give them the shirt off your back, all that stuff. We know all that is real. But whether or not there's like a bearded guy sitting on a cloud is like, you know, we don't know. We can't prove it. So I don't get outraged about stuff like that. To me, it's kind of silly. You know, I think your truths are for you. It's not for me. Your truth is for you. Well, okay, well, I hate, let's talk about the word truth, right? Like there's belief and then there's truth. And I think that the only way I can get outraged about my belief is if I've somehow taught myself that it's true. And I know it's not true. I know I just believe it. I want it to be true. I think it's true, sounds plausible, makes perfectly good sense in my head, but it's not true. And the only way I can be outraged when you say something about it is if somehow I've convinced myself it's true and it's not a belief. And I think we need belief integrity. I think we need true integrity. People need to be honest with themselves. If it's just your belief, it's just your belief. Like beliefs are okay. And this is why I tell people religion is okay until you have someone who knows it to be true. It's not true. They don't know it to be true. That's why all the gods, what they say believe. They said have faith. They didn't say it's true. They said have faith. You're supposed to have faith. So good morning, everybody. So I don't even know what we're going to talk about. That's just what the thread was going on with that. 9/11. Yesterday I was locked up. Oh man, I love me some Plato. I'm not homosexual, but I love me some Plato. Plato is off the hook. If Plato was still alive, I don't know. I might be worshiping that brother. He just, oh my goodness. I know, kind of weird. Saturday weekend, people out, you know, doing stuff. My kids were gone. What am I do? I was listening to Plato all weekend. That's why my mother called. She's like, "Are you married yet?" It's like, "No, Mama, I'm not married. Mama, I'm listening to Plato on the weekend." I'm really not marriage material. I'm listening to Plato on the weekend. I'm trying to understand how we got here. You know, democracy. How did we get this evil thing? Plato has turned me against democracy. I'm sorry, you guys. Democracy is just a tool. It's like a nuke or a missile, a drone. You can either grow food with it or you can murder a lot of people with it. Democracy right now is being used to murder a lot of, and I didn't know that. Democracy, it murdered who did it murder? It murdered Plato. It murdered Plato. So I don't know. If you're killing philosophers, then I had this crazy dream. I'm gonna go back and look at the comments. I had this crazy dream. Satan was flying around shaking a bag of democracy out all over the planet, killing everybody. I'm just not sure we should continue with this idea. Democracy, Eric, it doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. Like I appreciate that. Like Eric, it's like a fantasy word. It's not even real. You know, if most of the people in your society are okay with murdering other people, stealing their resources in their countries, democracy isn't a thing. It's just another word for murder. It's just another word for mob. Everybody get together as a mob and go kill some people. Like it's gang rape. So democracy, it doesn't even exist. I like how you said it best. Democracy, it doesn't even exist. And so I was off doing that yesterday. Plato had me going. This morning we're kind of having some fun on the thread. People getting on my grammar, Sister Kathy, she here. I guess I laugh about it because it's funny. And I'm sorry if I do have my grammar Nazis and y'all want me to speak and talk correct grammar and type it. It's just probably never gonna happen. I try. I'm publicly educated, and I'm out of corporate America, and so I don't really care about the King's English too much. I don't really care much about the King. So, but I try because I know there's certain people that got the little tick, you know, you gotta see the correct spelling, you know, gotta get the apostrophe and stuff. And I try to accommodate everybody, but for the most part, it's probably not gonna happen too much. I'm out of the corporate world, so I'm not talking to executives, I'm not talking to vice presidents, I'm not sitting in boardrooms. I'm actually sitting on my porch. You know, on my porch, I don't care nothing about that. What are we talking about this morning? We talk about anything. We don't get to do this during the weekend much. And a lot of people at work during the week, so they don't get to engage with the room or engage with me as much. So we can think about what people are talking about. You see, people are never upset for the reason they think. No, Sharon, they're not. But we know that from relationship counseling, right? We know from marriage counseling. We know that my wife comes home, she's upset about something. Husband comes home. They're never upset about what they say they're upset about. Every counselor tells you that. They're upset about something they don't want to talk about. And so I look at all this outrage as just a lot of silliness. I think at a certain point in time, you have to let go of the taught outrage. You got to let go of the things that you're holding inside as true and just accept that they're just beliefs. I believe in God, y'all. I do. I believe in God. I believe in God. I do. Sorry, atheist friends. I do. You're not gonna shake that. I've seen too much craziness in my life. I believe in God. Now, do I know what it is? No, I don't. What do I think it is? I think it's Jesus. I could be wrong. I could be totally wrong. Could be Muhammad. Could be all of them. It all could be the same guy. I don't know. Honestly, I don't care. I don't care. As long as everybody's on message with natural law, love everybody, care for everybody, give everybody the shirt off your back. Don't kill kids. Don't murder anybody. And I really don't care what your doctrine is. I don't care what version of the Bible you read. I don't care if you read the Quran. I'm fine with all of that as long as you're not killing people. If you're killing people, then it's not religion you're serving. It's not God you're serving. You're serving yourself. You're serving other men, and you're just murdering people. You're just a greedy bastard. And we shouldn't be greedy bastards. Greedy bastards aren't nice people. All right, hold on. I'm stopping. I need to go to YouTube. I won't be YouTube racist. I didn't have YouTube. That's the other thing. Is I don't think I've ever done a YouTube live on the weekend. But oh, if you're not subscribed to my YouTube, y'all go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube, please. Please, pretty please. Because they're going to throw me off of here. Oh, look, Cedar. Cedar on the weekend. Y'all see it on YouTube on the weekend. Y'all say hi to Cedar. Let me see. Plato killed Socrates. What did Plato kill Socrates? What was out? I was a couple different audio books I was getting into this weekend, Cedar. But we need our philosophers back. We need more philosophers in society. That's what I was thinking about this week, and that's why I've been spending time. Because I always say to pronounce the names wrong. Timaeus, Timaeus. I don't know the name of the book. I done forgot two of them, and another one was like a documentary about Socrates' life and one book and some of the discourse that he did. We really gotta get back into philosophers. We need to be raising philosophers. We need I'm not saying we need philosopher kings, but we damn sure need philosopher leaders. We need people who look forward, right? We need people who are visionaries. We don't have a vision. We're not going anywhere. We're literally staying in the same de-evolved, greedy state, and we got to get out of it. So we need more philosophers, absolutely. Because I thought, Cedar, correct me if I'm wrong, but who led that revolution? Someone led the revolution, and then democracy killed Socrates. I guess that's what it was. The irony, the ugly truth teller, poisoned by the snake. And we're always poisoned by the snakes. We're always poisoned, but there's always some snakes lying to us, and we believe it. I don't know if it's Satan or Basil Bob or whatever people make up, whatever a great evil is. I don't know, but people aren't supposed to have power over other people. Not upset to do it. Not upset to do anything about it. Rosa Fang. Anything. What is anything? Well, I think a thing when people get upset, what you're supposed to do is something. Right? You don't just get upset and share your upsetness with the world. You should probably get upset and do something. Think about something that's like positive and beneficial. Like one of my things, Rosa, I'm upset that we're coming into like the next Great Depression. Like the dollar's collapsing, our society's falling, our empire's in collapse, and there are very few analysts that actually would disagree with that. So because we know that's happening, we need to make sure people can take care of themselves. Because you know what's going to happen, Rosa, when the dollar collapses and people go into this like mass starvation and can't take care of themselves. Starving people, you can get to do anything. It's all the bankers and billionaires who line this stuff up. They already know what they're going to do next. They did this during the Great Depression. This all started in 1913 when they put in the Federal Reserve. You can go back to 1867, 1876 when we became the United States Corporation of the planet. They got rid of the Constitution. They've been doing this stuff a long time. They've been playing these games, and so they have the next thing lined up. And everybody's going to vote for it. Everybody's going to cheer for it. All you got to do is starve them. All you got to do is let people go into a depression, and they'll go along with whatever the kings and the lords tell them to do. They say, everybody get inside of this boat. Let's go kill France. The Americans going to get in the boat and go kill France. So, one of my things to do about that, I try to tell people to grow food. I try to tell people to be strong again. Take care of your family. Learn how to take care of your people without the infrastructure of government. Right? We can build a better system. We can build a better world. I don't know if that's democracy or what that even looks like. I just think we need to focus on the fact that we're going with a robot economy. I think as long as we do that, we'll be good. But absolutely, act on it. You know, people go out. If you want to have your protest, just make sure your protest has a reason. Make sure the signs are clear. Sister Kathy here. Make sure they put good grammar on the signs. Make sure they spell the signs right. That's but actually, you know what? If you misspell it and it's funny, it'll probably go viral. So so I think that's important. But absolutely, you can get nothing wrong with getting upset, but do something positive about it. Don't do something negative. If what you're doing brings back negativity, then don't do it. You don't do it. You're not helping anybody. You're just showing your outrage. You're just showing your immaturity or your emotional immaturity. I'll be nice to say it the right way. No, you're right. We watch and moan more than we plan and uprise. Yes, we do. We do, and there's too much of that. We need to be a little more ground. Your truth is your truth. Nobody else. Mine is mine. Exactly, Eric. And that's the whole thing. And that's why I tell people the problem's not religion. The problem is people who join religions because they need to be in the game, right? Same mentality that a lot of people go to church on Sundays because they need to feel a part of something. It's the same reason little kids join the white nationalists or the Nazis or the Crips of blood. Same thing. There are a lot of people who need to be a part of something. Those people don't believe in the message, which is probably a good thing when it comes to the Bloods and the Crips, the triads and white nationalists, but they need to be a part of something. But so a lot of these people are joined in these religions. They don't actually believe them. They don't read the books. They miss all the chapters on love, this, that, and the other. And so the problem isn't religion. The problem is tribal people. That's why I try to focus on. I was telling the sister about who's in Facebook jail right now is spread your post around when you go after religion. It's funny, it's hilarious to me, but it makes it seem like religion's the problem, and it's not. It's people who actually don't believe in the groups they associate themselves with. But I don't like the whole group thing anyway. I don't think people should be in groups. I think they're one family, and that's a mistake. Tribalism has to go away. Cheers, family. I'm having so much fun with the memes today. Yeah, funny, isn't it, Sandra? It's hilarious. I was laughing all this morning. People get upset. I look at the meme and it's funny. Sometimes, Sandra, I look at a meme and my little outrages start to kick up. And I like it. I actually like it because it makes me think. Why is that outrage there? Why is that little upsetness and that little emotional junk there? Get rid of that. But that's actually what sent me over to Plato. Just looking at his accounts about Atlantis, and I forgot which one, Timaeus or the Critias, whichever one. One almost the entire book. Well, the vast majority of the beginning was talking about Atlantis, and I think people miss the message of Atlantis. I think the fact that Atlantis disappeared is important. Where it is isn't important. Where it is only important to governments and goods because they want to see if they had flying ships and the little tools for doing all the digging and building the pyramids, all that nonsense. They'll just use it to kill us. It's important that they disappeared. Right? When you listen to Plato talk about Atlantis, which were Solon's accounts of it, it was really all about governing, right? It was a warning that the Egyptians were giving to Solon about giving too much power to government, right? So that the amount of greed in that society brought about the collapse, right? They didn't focus on the fact that floods are coming now, whether it's the gods that sent an asteroid that caused them to disappear, who knows? But the whole message was beware of government. And the Egyptians thought it was that important to pass to Solon to the Greeks to let them know that they came from powerful Athenian people who they all respected immensely, but you can't let your government get out of control. And so Atlantis is an awesome message for today. The people, I think, just need to focus on the fact that they went away, and we can go away too. Every civilization can get wiped away if we get too lost in our ignorance and our greed. I think, if I remember right, he talked about how Atlantis started out. They had common property. I know my conservatives they get a little ticked. Common property, that sounded like socialism and communism. First of all, calm down, just relax, because Jesus, this is the problem. Like I said, people in these groups who don't actually believe the message, they just believe what they want to believe. But they went from common property to greed, and they became a very greedy, murderous society. All the power went to the people who ran Atlantis. They became an empire, and the empire collapsed. Which is kind of the same thing that's happening in America today. All right, what else are we talking about? We live in a complete fiction. Yes, brother David, I completely agree. We live in a complete fiction, and we got to stop pretending that this is real. I think maybe we are in a simulation. I don't know. Elon Musk and the rest of them talk about that, and the other scientists to focus on the fact that you are an avatar. Are you causing problems, or are you solving problems? Are you making the game more like a war strategy type game? Are you making the game more like civilization and evolving and building and helping people? I think that's the focus. If this is a simulation, uh, people need to be focused on what are we trying to simulate. Um, but and then laugh at everything, and understand that this is just temporary with some spiritual creatures, whatever. And if you don't believe that, we need traits in microbiology. It's still really funny. We live in some really ridiculously funny times. I try to get serious, and then I can't stay serious because I can't believe that some of the adults believe what they do and they say what they do, and they get outraged about what they do. Um, I'm late. Are we talking about aliens? About a big universe. I think things work above as they do below. And below, there's life everywhere. There's water on every planet in the solar system. There's water on every planet, every body, all out in the universe. And the universe is a big place. So I think they're out there. I don't think aliens like exist from not from, try to say it the right way. There's always aliens, right? Native Americans were aliens. The French were aliens. The Chinese were aliens. There's always some aliens. Every time we get to the extent of our technology, there's a next something. And I think that everything in our universe works how it does. If there's life here, there's life probably here. That's my perspective on it. How is that applicable today? That's your belief. It's like, yeah, I know, and that's my belief, and I keep my aliens to myself, right? That's my belief. I'm not orchestrating a society based on aliens. I kind of laugh because in my country, everybody keeps voting. They keep voting for the same parties. Like lobbyists aren't in all the offices buying all the politicians, and their belief system in these politicians and these parties are actually driving the war. That's my belief. Can't prove it. Nope, not at all. I'm not even gonna try to convince you or prove anything. But my belief doesn't hurt anybody. Right? If you still believe that you control your politicians, but lobbyists are telling them harmful, you need to work on your belief. Maybe you should believe in aliens, keep it to yourself. Believe in politicians, keep it to yourself, but don't destroy the world with your belief. My belief system, I don't need to make anybody believe in aliens and don't need to make anybody believe in Jesus or anything else. My beliefs are for me. Belief systems are only bad when you try to force them on other people. If you don't control your politicians, maybe you need to find a new party. Maybe you need to find some new ones. Spell check evil. Navarro says spell check evil. I look up like, damn, I spell evil wrong. I'm like, oh, I'm typing. Sometimes I'll do voice to text. I'm in a hurry. I don't really get the spelling and grammar. I just kind of keep running. I want the message to come across. I kind of focus on the message. I try to think about the grammar. I do my grammar police. I try to spend time with them, but I don't. But yes, grammar check is this. It's the Satan's, the King's English. I don't like the King. I don't like the King's area. I don't like anything about the King. So I'm not really focused on the King's English too much. Outside of trying to my family of 8. If it was 7-1 against my dad, he won democracy. Lori, I love that. I love that. You know why? Because that tells me that's cronyism. That's the world we have. It's a crony world. Doesn't matter the government you have. Doesn't matter how many people vote. Doesn't matter. The people with the power always win. Because we're stupid. Like in Atlantis, we've given all the power to the elite. And it doesn't really matter who you put in office. Whoever prints the money, whoever has all the money, they take all the kitty home. Doesn't really matter. Talking about democracy, Amy Goodman has shown her true colors out here. Yeah, did you hear that, Sandra? Amy Goodman, what did she do? She said geoengineering is safe or something like that. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? But this is how it goes, right? Because it doesn't matter. Whoever you are, if you get big, they're gonna sell out. They take you. They take you. Amy Goodman came out and said geoengineering is fine. And what is a good example? A good example would be that billionaire who did that geoengineering in the ocean. Forgot his name. He just decided he wanted to spray this chemical out there to cause an algae bloom. And I'm just like, this is insanity. We are literally, like Sandra, think about it like this. We actually live in the time of Dr. Evil. We actually now finally live in a time of Lex Luthor. It was all fantasy when we were kids, but right now, it actually is real that we live in a time that one billionaire with immense amounts of power can actually destroy the planet. One billionaire and say it big, they steal your voice. That's why nobody needs to get big with anything. Everybody needs to support small. Democracy is mob rule. Yes, and it is. That's why a republic is thought to be a republic is, with representative government and a constitution can stop mob rule. I agree with that. And the thing I'd add to that is I appreciate though a really firm, good self-governance constitution, right, where people's beliefs are for them, where it's not a thing that they ever can fudge the rules, and they always seem to fudge the rules. So I just like the idea of leave everybody alone. Let everybody have their own self-determinating future. Don't tell everybody what to do. Don't tell them how to believe. Don't tell them how to live. I think we're all good. I think everybody gets along. Greed is the worst. Greed is the worst, and greed always seems to take over Navarro. It seems like whenever we share that positive thing, right? But anytime a religious group starts getting behind war and invasions and taking other people's rights, then they have nothing to do with that religion. What's my concept of God? Christine. I can't really answer that one because I don't know. I don't know, and I don't pretend to know. I know that something came here a long time ago, taught our ancients, our ancestors. They felt it was important enough to write it down, etch it in stone, and let everybody know that they saw these fantastical things that made no sense to them. To me, it's always science, though, right? Like, just because you don't know how somebody can fly, to you as a god, later you develop airplanes. So what God is, I don't know. I don't know that I care. I don't know that I care. I was raised to believe some things. I believe some of those things. Other things I don't believe. I think as long as God is something that doesn't get you to go out and hurt other people, then it's probably true, right? As long as it lines up with natural law, it lines up with some of the things my atheist friends believe, I think we're good. If it's all about love and free will and just help everybody, it's all good. But if it's used as a tool to hurt people, to steal from them and rob them, then we got a problem. Right? And then I don't know of any of the major religions that taught that those were good things. Let me see. Good morning, good morning. Love is core essence. All else is ego. Where greed can grow. Absolutely, Christine. Love is the core essence. So if love isn't the core of that religion or that group, that church, that temple, that political party, that government, right? If love isn't the basis, then it has to go. Or y'all need to find a little room somewhere where we can put you with some straitjackets or something. But if love isn't the basis of it, it always ends up in doing something evil. I'm not that intelligent. Stephen. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about the whole cute thing. I think I'm old and scraggly and I didn't shave. Intelligent. I don't think I'm intelligent. I think that I have common sense, Stephanie. I think that I try as best I can to listen to other people. I try as best I can. I have always got a lot of questions, right? Like, who was the guy? 50 Cent had the song 21 Questions. I don't. I probably got 21 million questions. But I think the only way that we get to understand each other is we ask each other questions and we give a damn about the response. And so I spend a lot of time in my comments going back and seeing what people say. I try to start conversations best I can. So to me, it's not intelligence, Stephanie. It's just common sense. We're in a really, really bad spot in the world. And if we don't understand, if we don't work with the people who are being played against us, figure out what their pains are, what keeps them up at night, and we don't make our own solutions and hand them up to whatever governs us, our kids don't have a future. So that's kind of where I'm coming from. We need to question everything and stop reacting from what our group speak, echo chamber dictates. At all times, Christine, at all times. At all times, we should have more in common. We should have more support for our neighbor and the voiceless than we do for anybody else. Any group, any system, any political party, any government, any church, any guild systems, all these non-human things, they need to be low priority for us. The highest priority should be human life and our neighbors who we don't agree with, but we respect their right to live the way they choose to. See how football serves to distract and exhaust energy. Yeah, it does, Robert. But to people who love football's defense, brother Robert, football, they didn't design it to be boring, right? They evolved it. They designed to make it better and better and better. Starting with the Coliseums, they distract us with that, and after we got tired of watching them feeding Christians and dogs and lions and crazy stuff and gladiators fighting, they're giving us something else. They're always evolving it to keep people tuned in and addicted. It's like social media, same thing, right? They get us addicted to it. It's like my friend, I don't know. I don't say any names, but I'll say for me, you get addicted to these things. Like, you get addicted to the intellectual discussion. You get addicted to the memes. You get addicted to social media. You really love it. You support it. You embrace it. You want to, and then you get thrown in Facebook jail. And you're like, it's hilarious and it's funny that they make these things addictive as they do. But they know what they're doing and they're phenomenal at it. That's why I don't personally watch football myself. I don't watch basketball. I used to play football. I used to play basketball. I used to do all that stuff. But playing it's something different than watching it. So I'm not really much of a watcher of it, but I got my own addictions. Everybody's got their own thing. It's just I think that it's bad, brother Robert, when it's a true distraction, right? And I see you all the time, so I know that you're not that distracted by football, right? It's bad when it's a distraction. Let's think about it. A distraction is problematic when it takes you away from what's important to the world as an adult, right? Like that's when it's bad. Short of that, it's not, it's who cares what it is, whether you're drinking, smoking cannabis, or whatever you're doing, as long as it's not destructive to your life and other people's in the world, it's good to go. Nothing wrong with it. But when people are like, well, we got to go out and, I don't know, they put some little kid in prison or they shot somebody and the neighborhood's getting together to help get the man out or the woman out or whatever, somebody's being raped. It's like, oh, I can't do that and go watch football. That's a problem. That's a problem. Let me see. I'm way up in the comments. Y'all way down there. I just asked what we're going to talk about. Y'all got a whole bunch of stuff. I didn't think it was going to be like that. Is anyone else broadcast cutting out in and out? I don't know. Is it? Y'all let me know. I'm actually doing YouTube at the same time as this, and I think that might be killing my bandwidth a little bit. It's looking pretty good. We still got people over on YouTube, so in fact, I'm gonna have to pick y'all up and move y'all over a little bit so I can see what YouTube is saying. I won't be YouTube versus. But outrage is a bad thing. Outrage is a bad thing. We got to get away from it's outrage is important. It can be utilized as a tool to do very constructive things, or it can be highly destructive. And I think to me, you get outraged, something bothers you. You think about the problem. You think about why you have the problem. You think about if it's just you and your indoctrination and a problem you need to fix and work on in your own mirror. And if it's not, then you probably have some positive discussions about it to try to get to the base of why you're actually outraged. Is it really not about you? Is it really something you can't fix for yourself as an adult? And if it's not, it's really a societal problem, then at that point, we work down to what is the root cause of the outrage. Not the other people, not the others, and never no others, never any other poor others that are causing you problems. That's why I don't get into the poor arguments. But this group of poor people's fighting that group of poor people. What I mean is when these non-billionaires are angry at those non-billionaires. To me, that's stupid. The source of all of your problems, all of my problems, they all come from the billionaire elite, the kings and the lords. And if your solution doesn't address it at that level, you're not going low enough. So we can't be outraged at each other. We need to be outraged at the actual systemic problem that causes the outrage, causes the problem. So outrage is important. It also can be very, very destructive. And I see it being more destructive than anything. I see people get upset, they flip out, and they start yelling, screaming, arguing, commenting. And it's highly destructive. I think we need to be a little more mature in our approach with outrage. Let me see. I saw the interview. Okay, I see what y'all talking about there. Dialect is very cool. Creole, etc. This is a group of folks that have grown up in Fort Pierce, many generations in this area. I heard a person say, "Voima." I had no idea what she was saying. Eventually, I understood she was saying voicemail, "Voima," voicemail. It took me forever to understand what she was saying. But the group knew I was curious and wanted to know. They laughed out loud and joined in with it. Thank you, Rebecca. And that's a good example. It's a good example of like having love, right, Rebecca? I see you all the time. Rebecca's got that love within her, right? When you are a loving person and you actually care enough, you don't say silly things like all of this. Welcome to our country. Speak the language. That stuff's got to stop. That's not cool. It's not human, right? Like if anything, welcome to the country. Why don't you share with us your culture? Like, how do you talk? You know, you talk kind of funny. Y'all talk funny too. You go back and forth, but you can learn things when you talk to other people from around the world. We need to be exposing ourselves to other people and other cultures, things they do better, things we don't do so well. You know, they got a lot of good, delicious. Some of the best food I love is Indian food. I love me some vegetarian Indian food. Give me a little tikka masala, a little chana masala. Ooh, I'm in heaven with some naans and how they put the garlic in there, right? I could just be ignorant. Or, you know, we can take the best things from other cultures, and y'all, we need to be open. We absolutely need to be open to other people. We're all related. We're all cousins all around this world. And when people know that you're actually curious about their language and they're curious about your culture, we all get along. Right? We're ignorant about it, and we try to dominate and force our culture down their throats on land none of us actually owns anyway to begin with, that they murdered a whole bunch of people to take. We just think we have to, our hearts got to be bigger than that. Our hearts definitely got to be bigger than that. It's the I am right, you are wrong. I need to have my way, fighting in political terms. Exactly, Elizabeth. And that's based in these people who, this gets back to belief in what's true, right? People have trouble in their heart, in their own bodies, defining what is belief and what is true. Like you believe this might help, but you don't know it to be true. So don't fight with other poor people over it. I have to be right and my belief has to be right. No, it doesn't. You know, we don't know what's going to work, right? And it's that humble approach. When we have more humility, then you don't have political parties. You actually got one party. It's called the human party. Everybody works together, and we all work together fighting the billionaire elites that always run the government. You know, but people let it become dramatic, emotional, and personal, and then we can't get anything done. We're always watching the same stuff. Yeah, we probably are. Yeah, but you know what, Eric? That could be. Like, I believe some weird things. I think we're all connected. I think that there are. You can call it spiritual, call it God, call it quantum physics. I have no idea. Call it energy, call it soul. I think we're all connected. And I think a lot of people around the world are really starting to get out of their box and wanting to not let the world keep going this way. So I think we're all pushed in the same directions, whether that's watching Plato or getting more into philosophy, looking at the 9/11 truth and truth type stuff. Like I was looking at that, blew my mind. Also, I was talking about that earlier today. The major general who came out with the 9/11 stuff and said there's no way it was a missile. It was a missile. Missile hit the Pentagon. Right? And so my perspective on 9/11 that a lot of people are looking back into now is a bunch of people died and we don't know who did it. Some people say they know who did it. They believe that to be true. They don't know it to be true. For me, this could go as anywhere as far as, I don't know, rogue element. I don't know. I didn't go that far. Pentagon. What happened to the Pentagon? I don't know. Maybe a jet fighter was trying to shoot at one of the airplanes. The missile missed and hit the Pentagon. We know a missile hit the Pentagon. Right? The Major General came out and said it. We know a missile hit the Pentagon. Right? This is not McDonald's. Right? You go run your car into McDonald's, and you tell me what'll happen. If you run your bicycle or your car into McDonald's, you will be on multiple camera angles and you will be all over YouTube. And we will be laughing at you. I'm sorry. If nobody gets hurt, we're going to be laughing. Somehow you drive an airplane and hit the Pentagon, the most secure building in probably the world, if not the universe. And you're trying to tell me there's not one piece of camera footage that shows the full video of what hit, and they turned all the sensors off the day before? Stop it. Come on. Don't play with your intellect. So we know that we're not told the truth. Do we know what's true? No, we don't know what's true. Could it be a rogue cell of terrorists in the United States and they don't want to release to us what's happening and that they're chasing them and they're trying to get them? It could be. It could be some top security stuff. It may not be that our government has something to do with it. But the fact is, what they told us isn't true. It's just not true. Not true, right? What happened with the Twin Towers, or better yet, was it Flight 93? You know what an airplane crash looked like. Come on, people. Don't insult my intelligence. And please don't insult other people's intelligence. That was not an airplane, a little hole in the ground. Come on. We've seen plane crashes since the beginning. You can go back and look at, when was the last time there was a plane crash in America and we didn't see the crash? We always see the crash. So the idea, first of all, they don't show up from the Pentagon. That's crooked and corrupted. But you know what a crash looks like. We've been watching this stuff since the 70s. Luggage everywhere. People everywhere, fire parts, pieces, millions of pieces go into making these airplanes. So there's no way that makes any sense, right? None of the story doesn't make sense. So I don't propose that I know what happened, right? I don't do that. I just simply say that we are not being told the truth. 3,000 of our countrymen were murdered on that day. Since 5 million people have died for a lie. Doesn't matter to me what they're lying about. They shouldn't be lying. It's called obstruction of justice. It's a murder investigation. Truth needs to be known. And the fact that every single president keeps it hidden should tell you what you need to know. Citizens don't run their government, and whatever runs the government has absolutely no respect for human life. Zero, whether it be from Yemen or to America. There's no respect for human life anywhere. All right, keep going. As such, geoengineering mentioned the feed was interrupted. Yeah, I know, Christine, they play that because it's a little game. And I don't think it's even a person anymore. I think it's just software. I think they run the software, and when certain terms come up too much, they just start deleting stuff. Who was that? I can't see who was that. Deb said, someone said they're agreeing. I can't really see it too well. I appreciate when people agree with me. I appreciate when people don't agree with me. My stance is that we just need to know what's true. We need to know what's true. That's it. When people die, we need to know what happened so we as a society can make some decisions to make sure it doesn't happen again. And it keeps happening again. Like, as a good example, right now, the hurricane that just came up through North Carolina, and now 500 million people don't have no power. Did y'all see that? Fox News said 500 million people lost their power in North Carolina. I'm just sitting here like, 500 million. Are there 500 million people on the whole continent of America, North and South? I doubt it. 500 million people. So that was probably a typo. But to me, it's silly stuff, right? Like, as a society, we need to make these decisions on solar energy and power grid integrity. Whether we want to keep this ancient power grid that the government loves because they get money from the big oil industry, or do we want to move to something better? You know, it's ridiculous. It's a ridiculous idea that anybody runs out of power in the year 2018, damn near 100 years after solar power is invented. That's just dumb. It's just stupid. And we don't know the truth. We don't know that oil companies buy up these hybrid car companies. They buy up the engines. They sit on the technology. They've been playing this game going back since the 60s. When we don't know what's true as a society, we can't make good decisions. We can't support the right political parties who are actually doing the right things to move us forward and evolving our societal model as well as our power grids, right? So that's why I'm always about the truth. I want to know what's true. We've evolved out of this concept of governments having secrets. No government on this planet should have a secret. There's no right. They have no rights to do it. And there's no logical reason why there should be any top secret classified or any of that. They all lie to all of us, like the kings and lords have always done from the very beginning. We need a different type of politician, a different type of governing, different political parties that actually believe in human life and human rights and people working together and moving forward so we don't go the way of Atlantis. Hey, hon, good to see you on a Saturday or Sunday. I said it was Saturday, Sunday. It's actually Sunday, y'all. Sunday, you got to go to work tomorrow. It's slavery tomorrow. Seemed like it was basically a human sacrifice to manufacture consent for all they wanted to bring forth. I hate being that cynical. You know what, hey, hon, I don't think it's being cynical. I don't think that's being cynical. I think that people were murdered and we don't know it's true. And we got to stick to that. Even when it comes to JFK and Martin Luther King and all the rest of them, people were murdered. We don't know the truth. We have a right to know it's true. Anybody that hides that truth, they're obstructing justice, right? I don't think that's being cynical. I think that's just saying, look, we need to know you killed, our neighbors were killed, and we need to know who did this. Clear it up for you, Lori. Okay, that's good to know. It's I downsized some stuff and made it a little easier, so hopefully that made the broadcast work a little better. Um, Let me see. Brother Rick said, I still watch football and all my sports. Helps me to get away from all the negativity in the search I do. I'm an active former sports player, so I love watching competition. I play pool, and solely is it's great. It's a great game for everybody. Exactly, and this is why we don't judge each other. You know, we don't judge each other on anybody's love or passion. You gotta make whatever you do sustainable, especially if you're like looking at this stuff like 9/11 and conspiracy and all this stuff. I don't believe in the word conspiracy. I think in the time when your government always conspiring against you, and the kings and the lords have been conspiring against us since the feudal days, people who are looking at what they're up to, they're not conspiracy theorists. They're people who are just trying to figure out what the freak is going on. And it'll drive you insane. So if you don't have a little something to kind of keep you happy, keep you balanced, you know, just football or something, you got to have something to, otherwise you will become, like Hey Hun said, you'll become cynical. You'll like really lose it, and you can't lose it. Your fight to make the world better has got to be sustainable. However you do that, you need to do it and make it sustainable, and get up the next morning and say, we need to know the truth from the next morning. You can't go crazy and flip out and start yelling and screaming revolution. That's exactly what they want. They want you to become unstable and violent because they know how to handle that. You're very thoughtful this evening, Gerard. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I try to be thoughtful. I try to be thoughtful every time. Does that mean I'm not thoughtful other times, Rebecca? I'm not thoughtful. I try to be thoughtful. I try to be. We have to look at everybody's account. I mean, everybody's angle. Yeah, Facebook jail sucks, but there's a backup account. Yeah, Facebook jail sucks, Kathy. I had little tears in my eyes the time I went to Facebook jail. But it makes you feel better when you see your friends actually talking. They actually miss you. Like, what happened to that person? It's like, oh, they're in Facebook jail, or you know, or we need to call the police. That person disappeared. It makes you feel good. But they pull this stuff as power trips. That's what I tell people. Y'all really need to think about when you report people. Have some real consideration to free speech. We're not making anything better. Now, mind you, if somebody's talking about suicide, if it's something violent, something illegal, I get that. The jokes, come on, man. We should be able to not worry about people making jokes. That's what they believe. They don't believe in your religion. Who cares? Why do you even care what anybody else thinks? You're an adult. You know, why do you care what's on their page? That's the other that's the other crazy thing. Why do you follow people and you try to make them like you? What? I don't get that. I don't get that. Like, you follow people and you may want to force them to be in your political party or your faith, or believe in your politicians or your religion. I don't get it. I sometimes it boggles my mind. Let me see. I disappear on Facebook during Gerard's cast. That means that I went to YouTube. Just saying. Okay, all right, W. Yeah, you can watch me anywhere you want. YouTube. I'm gonna try to get out on Gab. I have a web page on Gab. If y'all on Gab, Gab's another website. I'm still trying to learn how to use it. It's just to pack everybody in over there. English is the most shallow language there is, anyways. I would do wonderful things for our soul to speak out a little depth. Yeah, English, and there's the thing about language. I know you talk about that a bunch, Emerson, in terms of language and how language is, you know, there are certain words that don't even exist in the English language and how words don't translate across. You know, we do have big trouble with translating real thought language to language. And English, I don't know the age of English. I don't know. But I know that there was a lot of discussion. I looked at one once. It was talking, I think it had to do with the Mayans or the Aztecs when they came over. There were certain words that were in the Spanish language, and so part of it was wiping out some of their words. And I think even the Native Americans, right, the indigenous folks, they had to wipe out some of their languages, and so they indoctrinated those kids in the indoctrination schools to get rid of those words. You know, I had a friend of mine who mentioned about English. Goodness, I forgot where she's from. I want to say she was from, I don't know if it was Sweden or Finland or somewhere, but she came here, and they were trying to tell her about, I think it's the word allergy or something to the effect. Excuse me, something to the effect that allergy didn't even exist in their language. But English is English. I do my best. But I'm not so worried about the King's Edge. All right, let me go there. I'm missing a bunch of stuff way up in the comments. That's because humans don't run the government. Nope, Brother Emrys, they absolutely do not. And we need to stop pretending like they do. It's a fantasy. 500 million is a hilarious typo. It was hilarious, Rebecca. I was busting my butt. It was, I couldn't believe that. You know, but hey, fake news. It doesn't really matter. Fox News said it's true. CNN, MSNBC, MSNBC said, and trust me, there's Americans right now running around. 500 million people don't have no pie. You need to send us some money. There are people driving to North Carolina right now to help 500 million people. I guarantee you. Let me see. Power without people. Probably 5 million. Probably not even 5 million. I think that they just do what they do. Kings and lords, the ruling class. No, you and me, are the underclass. That's the only division. Yeah, it is. And people need to focus on the fact that, well, you know what? Maybe there are three separations, Rebecca. Maybe there are the kings and lords, poor people, and then the poor people who support the kings and lords. The ones who go to work every day and they don't want nothing to change. They somehow think that this is a sustainable system and we're going to keep going on. You got the gaslit people. I don't know. The haves, the have-nots, and the have-nots that just pretend that they ever going to have one day. I don't know. But yeah, the old battle's always been the haves and the have-nots. Let me see, 500,000 more realistic. That makes a lot of sense to me. Let me see, gotta be careful not to revolutionize into a one world government, which we all know that's where it's going. Yes, it's going there, Crystal, but you know what? I'm not scared of the one world government. I'm not scared of it. You know what I think about when I think about the one world government? Outside of the fact that it's funny, and I wanted to say, you know, I wanted to do a video in my Candy Striper t-shirt. Y'all remember Candy Stripers? You never seen a guy in a t-shirt, red and white candy stripe. I thought it was funny, and nobody said anything about it. I thought it was good. Anyway, some things are funny to me. But the one world government, I'm not concerned about a one world government. I'm concerned with it if it's anything that we have now. Right? So what we have now, pretty murderous and pretty bloody. We don't have a sustainable earth. We don't have any sustainable government. So none of those governments should be rolled up into a one world model. I think we have to kind of get back to self-determination and freedom and happiness. Like, you know what, Crystal, you reminded me. I posted something the other day. Asking a question about what if we took the governments of the happiest people? What if the happiest people around the world, the freest people, what if we took the top 5 governments that murder the least people, the governments that have the least amount of suicides? Like, we can come up with a whole list of things that determine what happiness and freedom and liberty and human beings, you know, a list of the governments that have that are raising the least psychopathic children, a list of nations and the governments that have the least mass shootings, the least starvation, right? And we let them make a determination of the laws the other governments get to keep. Not make necessarily, maybe make and keep. Like, I don't know, like, we can go into a one world government model. It just can't be anything we have today. And it has to be based on people truly getting what they need, right, in terms of freedom and a good lifestyle. If we actually had some sort of shifting panel and whatever government, people make a government that makes them happier and brings about better conditions in their country for their kids, I could see that turning into some sort of a worldwide minimal government that keeps evolving itself based in the betterment of human life. Right? I can see that. You know, if you're involved in any wars, invasions, or anything like, you have no seats on the panel. You don't get to cast a vote because you're obviously Cro-Magnon. You're obviously not evolving. So I'm not scared of the one world government. I just don't like what the plan is. Right now, the plan is take the murderous governments and make murder the model, freedom and taking freedom and oppression and slavery and rolling that out on a world scale, putting billionaires and cronyism in charge of everything. And I think that's a really bad idea. Very cool. You're feeling out the evening crowd. Yeah, I kind of feel out the crowd, Rebecca. I think you have to look at who you're talking to before you talk. I don't really have a topic. It's for me, it's just blah blah blah. I was sitting back and made a cup of coffee, figure I'd turn this on and see if y'all has something y'all want to talk about. The Vatican is one world government for Catholics. That's scary, Lori, isn't it? That's a very scary statement. I think that the Vatican, first of all, they have like all the human history records that they keep under the Vatican. They say that they have a lot of the records from the Library of Alexandria. So the fact that they're hiding human history for some intent unknown is a mistake. Like the laws and how you can even get the documents is crazy. I was looking at like you have to already know what the document you want to read is before you go research it. You have to be attached to some resource, education, or type of institution. You can go in, you can only select 3 texts that you absolutely know are already there. And I think almost even the topic you want to research, they have to approve all of that. You can only go in and sit down for the day and look at those 3 texts for a few hours. And if you pick a wrong text that you didn't want to see, you got to give it back. You can't get another text the same day. You got to leave and apply to have it. It's crazy. It's crazy that you would hide human history from people. To me, that's criminal. That's a crime against humanity. You know, but then outside of that, that you would have a billion people. How many Catholics are there? A billion? The fact that you would have a billion people who, a lot of them think that the Vatican speaks for God. Scary. In a time when you have a pope who says that the Catholic priests that were messing with these little kids, that Satan made them do it. The fact that you have a pope, a grown man with a big papal hat. Is that called a papal hat? I don't know. I'm sorry if that offends somebody. But the fact that you have a grown man in a costume who dresses up and tells people how to live would make an excuse for somebody who's hurting children. That's not any religion I'm associated with. That's not anything that Christ or God had anything to do with. In fact, I think the way Christ put it, or the way God put it, is that trust Christ. That those who cause children to stumble, the least among us to stumble, it's better that they have a millstone hung around their necks and be cast into the sea. Christ was very clear on pedophilia. Christ was very clear on those who hurt children. Christ was very clear on those who modify the text and make up their own religion and turn a church into a cult. Christ was very clear on all of that, but people don't care what Christ had to say. They only care what their leaders have to say. People always want to rule and conquer from any government form. They do, Lori. That's why I don't think we can have power over people. We can't have any power over people. I don't want to tell you what to do. You don't tell me what to do. As long as it's peaceful, go do you. You know, that's the type of government we have to get back to. We have to get back to something free. Let people live their lives. When they're happy, they're less violent. No good man wants to rule over others. Exactly, Rebecca. That's a great. I'm getting stalked by a mosquito. I'm not sure how long it's gonna last, y'all. Get your topics, the mosquito's coming for me. Right. No good man. I forgot who said that. It was a quote around that. No good man wants to rule over others, because there are no good men, no good women either. Right? The people you have in government probably should be people who don't want to be there. The people who want to reduce the power of government. But somebody who's like, hey, vote for me, I want to be government, then you already know that person's not a good person. Nobody wants to control anybody. You know, they want you to be the boss of you. They don't want, you know, that saying when we were kids, you're not the boss of me. You're not the boss of me, right? And anybody who wants to combat with that, that's somebody who needs a straitjacket. They need to go sit somewhere. You know, we need to stop bossing people around. You need to give people back their freedom. If anything, we got hundreds of thousands of laws that need to be deleted. It's exactly what we need. We need to give people their freedom back, take it back from corporations. Go back to laws that don't allow government to murder people. You see, the church has always strived to keep knowledge from the common man. Yes, Elizabeth, because it works. Yeah, yes, it has. It absolutely has. The church is not excluded from psychopathy, right? You know, when people have power over other people, yeah, I know it's a skeeter invasion. I'm getting eaten out here. When people have power over other people, they lose their damn minds. Psychopaths always flock to control mechanisms, and the church is a great control mechanism. It's an instant army, like you're saying earlier. The other sister was saying is that the Catholic Church, that's dangerous. It's a dangerous concept. The Vatican had that many people who are beholden to what you say. You want an army? All you got to do is become the Pope. That's it. You want an army? All you got to do is bribe the Pope. Single point of failure. You can't have one person that's a single point of failure for anything, especially not when it comes to being okay with war and murder and genocide. The other thing that Pope did that kind of bothered me, he went over to Myanmar and wouldn't say anything about the Rohingya Muslims. He wouldn't say anything about them while he was over there. You don't need a Pope that's scared. You need a Pope that has faith. And mind you, he came back. When he came back, he actually said some things about the Rohingya Muslim genocide. He wouldn't say anything while he was there. I think if you wear the hat, you wear the costume, you the Pope, you shouldn't have any fear. You should have faith, right? You get over there and you tell them exactly what God says, unless you really don't believe. Now, if you don't believe, now I know why you're not saying nothing, because you actually don't believe it. And this is not an attack the Pope thing. It's just a statement of belief. You can tell people who truly have faith and people who don't. Hang on, it's going loud. It grabs. Okay. Let me see. Leave those babies alone. Exactly, Lori. Anybody who hurts kids, I have nothing to say for it. You got some demonic stuff going on. Christ consciousness, heaven is found within only. And I kind of believe that, Rebecca. I kind of believe it because what sent me down that path is when they found the Dead Sea Scrolls. And of course, the people, a lot of the churches, they're like, oh, we found the Dead Sea Scrolls. The scriptures haven't been changed at all. And that's not true. They deleted all the Gnostic texts, all the texts that said God is within. They deleted all of them. They got rid of the book of Gigantus. They talked about giants, and they got rid of the book of Enoch that talked about aliens. They got rid of all of that. They're like, no, we can't do that. You got to keep people locked in and keep them believing the things that make it good for the king. Right? And so that's what it always did. It is a little bit of a skeeter invasion. They're coming for me. But the sun is going down. It's been raining like crazy because of that silly hurricane. Before that, we just had like a really, really wet summer. And so we got skeeters everywhere. But it's natural vaccination. I get annoyed. I got my aloe right here anyway, so it doesn't really matter. They can do their best. I got my medicinal cures, but I try to keep them off of me. Best I can. But that's it's natural vaccination. Exactly, Gerard. Prophecy is if you're a prophet. Right. Prophecy if you're a prophet. If you actually believe the things that you say, then you should be living that life. And if the Pope isn't living that life, we got Houston, we got a problem. You know, and people have to stand up and start saying those things. Such power is above the law. The members have the power, diminish this power. Yeah, they do. If you do half the things your government does, you go to prison. They do it all the time. I've got a lot of friends in Hollywood and some in government. Oh, they have their little cocaine parties. They have their little crack parties. They got the dealers coming by. They got crazy rooms. They do crazy things with kids and everything else. It's just, it really is that sick. It sounds crazy, but it's not. It actually happens because we agree with it and we go along with it. And the idea that people are like, really aren't asking questions about the church right now, that's the real big problem. Let me see. What else do we have? All the government agencies that took the pedal of the lie from 11 scripts were passed out to the media and advanced cover stories remain in advance. slowly but made up in advance. Yes, exactly, brother John, Sean. Um, American, everybody in the world is your morons because they act like morons. They think they're morons. We can be more. Absolutely, absolutely. You know, there's no question. People need to know what happened during 9/11. That's a real issue. Um, there's psychopathy scale. I am a 5, 6 on a scale out of 30. I love a couple that scored. I love a couple that scored above 20. Wow. There's another way to divide folks. All serial killers are psychopathic. Not all psychopathic killers. Um, we are any of us on that scale. Where are any of us on that scale? And that's the truth, Rebecca. People don't really talk about much. That's why I try to clarify when I mention psychopaths. I try to remind people that not all psychopaths are violent, that most of your doctors are, most of the lawyers are, almost all the politicians are. There are the violent psychopaths, and then there are the ones that needed to do their job. A lot of your EMTs are psychopaths, like a lot of your firefighters are psychopaths. Why? Because it's just a genetic adaptation that people have to look past something, right, to achieve a goal. And as a politician, you can look past genocide and murder to achieve this goal of beating the other side. So I don't really blame the politicians. They're kind of lost in this thing too. So you have violent psychopaths, and then you have the people like the firefighters who they pull up to the car, the leg is over there, your arm is over there, and you're in the car, right? Metal everywhere, blood everywhere. We don't have time for this. Ew, oh, ooh, ah, you know, we don't have time for that. You know, you need to get the jaws of life, break that thing, and get the person out of there. And do you think you can do that if you're squeamish? If your empathy and compassion are really, really high, and the genes that regulate that? Can you do that if your fear is really, really high and you see gas leaking out the car and sparks and everything? No, I want my psychopath firefighter. Get me out of this damn car, man. I want my psychopath. I'm not really a doctor person. When it comes to healing and health, as y'all know, I don't play with doctors. I don't have a doctor. I don't want to do it. I get in a car accident, I love me some doctors, and I want my psychopathic doctor to get to business, right? I don't want them laying out on the table, jaw over here, and eye hanging out the socket, ear over here, you know, foot coming out my back. I don't want that doctor squeamish. Oh no, I need you to get them psychopath genes going. Let's get to work. Let's get to work, you know. Get in there and start stitching a brother back together, you know. So I said that's, you know, but who said that, Rebecca? And I don't think people pay attention to that. They hear the word psychopath and they're immediately off. And so more and more when I talk about it, I try to talk about, you know, people who are, there's a difference between a violent psychopath and someone who's speaking those genes and their mechanism for survival isn't based on killing anybody or stealing from them or banker scams. Most of Wall Street, psychopaths up there running those corporations, running banks, investment bankers. I have been skeetered by thousands of times in my life. I know they're coming for me, aren't they? I'm not gonna be on here too much longer, Lord. They're eating me alive. Um, People who hurt kids are the buddies of those who send others to fighting wars. The effects of victims exactly the same for both PTSD. Absolutely, absolutely. And Deborah, and this is why I lose when people start talking about how they're patriots. You know, it's like you're patriots and you're supporting the troops and you're actually cheering, sending these young kids, 19, 20, 21, off to fighting wars that have absolutely nothing to do with the defense of their country. You think you're a patriot and you're clapping and you're cheering for that? That's sick. That's sick. First of all, only a coward would send children to go fight their battle for them. You know, politicians don't believe in these wars because they don't go fight in them, and they're not leading the charge, and they don't let their kids go. So because some 17, 18, 19, I don't know what the enlistment age is anymore, because you sign up and you say, you know what, I want you to pay for my college, I'm gonna go get trained, and if there is a battle that comes up that involves me defending my country, I'll go fight. That's an agreement, and it's a pact. And the fact that any politician would walk away from that and just talk to Wall Street and oil companies and Saudi or anybody who wants to buy the military and says, okay, yeah, we're going to send our kids off to fight for you. That's treason. You're not a patriot if you support that. You're not supporting the troops. You're supporting greed. You're supporting murder and death and selling out our U.S. military. I think that's insanity. You know, I think that people that really don't get what's going on, and they're hurting a lot of kids because they don't get it. Not just when they come back and they don't take care of the vets. Um, yeah, bit sometimes on the butt. Yeah, I won't say all the places I've been bit by mosquitoes, but Arkansas has big mosquitoes. I used to go down there a lot. What mosquitoes down there? Private law and public law. Yes, Rebecca, and you need to study those things more. One group of laws for the elites and another group of laws for the rest. Exactly, Rose, and that's people have to focus on that. They have to realize that there are the betters and then there's us. We have to stop cheering the others, our betters, or our betters who we think are better, and hating the other betters on the other side, and they're cheering their betters who they think are betters, and meanwhile all the betters are working together, and we're all just trash to them. You know, I think we got to stop this whole left-right nonsense, and people need to grow up and realize that none of the betters are for us because we're not betters. We don't have $1 billion in the bank. And that's why the media always talks about what people have, what's different, right? They always talk about their differences. They don't talk about what they have in common because probably 99% of everything they all have in common. But the 1% is very dramatic and it piques their outrage, and that's how they cause a lot of the problems and keep people divided. People just got to be smarter than that. We got to stop going for that crap. Who made the scale? Something that yeah, Lori, and these are deep questions, but we got a lot of psychologists in that. I actually have a lot of friends on my list that are psychologists. I can't tell you I know who made the scale, but I think it's going in the right direction, studying these things and the genes that are attached to them and the ability to do the scans, and how does that apply to today? All government needs to have their brain scans. All police officers need to have their brain scans. All soldiers need to have their brain. Anybody that has power over other human beings needs to have a brain scan. We need to know where they are on that spectrum. Right? You don't want anybody in government that doesn't have that love. Social workers, Brother Mark just mentioned, also social workers. We need to have brain scans. We need to have people involved with helping other people and control over them. They all got to have brain scans. We need to know where they are on these psychopathy spectrums. I want every candidate in every election to have a brain scan. They might just not have the functionality I need before I vote for them. That's why I didn't become a nurse, but an excellent caregiver and nurturer. Yes, Heaven, and that's yeah, I couldn't do it, Heaven. I had a buddy of mine is a firefighter, and he talked about it, like some of the scenes he pulled up into, and talking about how people would get in accidents and they would have buckets full of body parts. Let's just say this. You don't want me showing up to your car accident. Like I said, if you're still alive, you're going to die. Heaven, you're going to die. You're going to die. Let's hope we don't reallocate the whole society and y'all shake the bag up. And Gerard ends up as an EMT or firefighter. It's not going to work. I'm telling you. I don't even like to see my blood. Doesn't mean I'm weak or nothing. I have my zones, right? And mind you, when the adrenaline kicks in, I can do some amazing things, man. I just climbed off the roof. I was up there working on something. I got a leak in the roof. I was working on. I can do what I got to do. But damn it, I pull up and the adrenaline doesn't kick in, and you hanging out the car, leg over there, your tongue over there. Oh, Heaven, I probably get out there. Oh, Lord. I probably just faint. Like, oh, damn it, now we got to save him too. Who the hell put him on this team? I'm sorry. I believe body parts supposed to be inside and skin's supposed to cover that. That's my zone. I know my zone, right? We need to go fight, go into war. I do what I gotta do. I can be a really rough bastard when I gotta be, but it's helping people. You send me to war for banks and stuff. We bring this draft back and you want to send me to go fight. You don't want me on your team. I'm gonna tell you right now. If you you don't want me in your foxhole. Nope, you don't want me. You don't want me. Now, mind you, if we are in America and the terrorists invade and they're coming to get us, which they never will because they're just poor farmers and terrorism doesn't actually exist. But if they show up here, yeah, that's one thing. I'm good for that. You send me over there to fight for some bankers and make them wealthier and the kings and the lords, go fight for Trump, go fight for Obama. And it's not even them because they're like low people on the totem pole. Send me over there. Oh, this is not gonna happen. It's going to end up bad. I don't know what'll happen. I'll probably be with all the soldiers in Canada right now, all the ones that are AWOL that ran away because the military's lying to them about what they're doing. I'd be gone. Um, the way the world is now, we cannot get away from laws or governance we can no longer trust. But ideally, we have been better off without laws and governance. But this is true, Christy, to a degree. I think that there are some good solutions. I think there are governance models that work better. Um, the good thing I would say about the United States, one of the greatest things about the United States is we're actually designed to undo all of this. That's one of the great things. We're actually designed to undo. The problem is it takes the people to undo. It takes enough people to not be scared of the other side, to keep putting in more murdery bastards and say, you know what? I don't care who's president. I don't care who's in Congress. I don't care who's in the Senate. I don't care. The people there that are completely dysfunctional right now, they all need to go. And the next thing that needs to happen, we need to determine where they stand. We need to stop having politicians tell us where they stand. We tell them, say, listen, this is what you're going to do. We talked about it, got together with the right, the left. We got together with the neo-Nazis and the Black Panthers and the Black nationalists and the immigrants. We got everybody. We had this big conversation. And we decided this is your platform. This is what you're going to do because this is what works for us. The rest of the stuff we don't know. But the only thing, if I could stitch anything in there, Christy, on top of that, it would just be preparing for the automation economy. That's my background. Preparing for the robot economy, right? Nobody's paying for food. Nobody's paying for water. Nobody's paying for a house. Nobody's paying for Wi-Fi. Nobody's paying for electricity. All of those things we could do them all easily for free, damn near 30, 40 years ago. All of those things are free. Nobody's paying for that. Nobody's taxes are paying for that. The robots are doing it. Automation, software, taking care of all of it. Take care of the bare minimums that make people psychopathic and feel the need to be on a left and a right. When you get rid of those things, happy times come. You know, happy times come and people go back to being human beings and they stop being these tribal monsters that have to get on sides or join religions to fight other people. And then we don't have these, and then you don't need the laws. You know, so I don't believe in deleting all the laws immediately. I say that jokingly, Christy, because I think it's funny, you know, but there is a path to getting rid of the need for the laws, right? And when you don't have psychopathic people and you don't have scared citizens, then we don't have the problem because where all the laws come from, they came from scared people. Somebody was scared. Well, I'll say another way. It hurt a little bit, but you know, they came from adults who are acting like children, who aren't solving their own problems. And they ran into a problem. Instead of solving their own problem, they ran to government and told on somebody. That's effectively what they did. They ran to government, told on their neighbor, told on another group. I don't like how you do this. I don't like how you're doing this. And we lost common sense of, you know what, self-determination. That person bought that property. That's what they do. They Muslims, they have hijabs, or they over there Christians, they want to have a prayer breakfast or whatever. I'm just gonna leave them alone. That's their business, not my business. You know, but people let childishness and immaturity take over, and so they ran to government. And what did government do? Government said, okay, we're gonna take away this right, and started auctioning off to Wall Street. Who wants this right? Somebody want to buy right, you know, and they sold that. And so that's how we got here. Let me see. I work with physicians. I haven't seen one personally in 20 years. All right, well, that's good. You work with them, but you don't need them. That means that you've got your diet, you've got your life going in the right direction. It's for oil. We need to get to work. Come on now. Yeah, it's all for oil, Mark, and you keep saying it's always for oil. It's always for resources. It's always for something dumb. But it's never for America. It's never for Americans. It's never for the next generation. We need to think more about the next generation than we do about ourselves. Hey, Kia, good morning. Let me see. My son-in-law's little 18-year-old brother is joining the Marines. Breaks my heart. It does happen, but they do great. It's not his fault. They do great marketing, right? They do great marketing. They got rock and roll, they got Hummers, they got, they got the hip hop superstars singing for them. They do great marketing to kids. They know how to market to kids, and that's why I don't. I'm not about blame the recruiters. I'm not about blame the military. The military has a job to do, but they're being told what to do by the people we cheer. Right? They're being told what to do by the politicians who are on the bumper stickers. They're being told what to do by the politicians trying to keep getting me to support. By the parties they want me to support, right? And I'm just like, no, I think it's a bad idea. I think that, sure, you could, here's a good question. Who asked that? Who asked that? Heaven. Here's a good question. How is that any different from Joe Camel selling cigarettes to kids? I remember Joe Camel. Joe Camel was the Camel cartoon they had that was selling cigarettes, and they shut that down because they were selling them to kids. How is that any different than selling sexy war through war games, rock and roll, and Hummers to children? It's no different. Well, no, there's a difference. The cigarettes, the kids just killed themselves. The military industrial complex, they're killing other people, right? And killing those kids. But we have to be about what we speak about. People learn about what they speak about. They just love to hear themselves talk, but they won't stand in the spot that other human beings and these kids need them to stand in. Childhood friend is so proud of her top-notch West Point kid. Very sad. It is Lori, but going back, I probably would have been proud too. Going back in my indoctrinated time, I probably would have been proud too. I think that we have to, all you can do is start talking to people. That's all you can do. And that's all you can do. I mean, it's an endless list of parents who were proud and then they buried their kids. Right? Endless list. And we just have to step it up. Hey, Ty, good afternoon. Let me see. If we all touch our kid, taught. I read that wrong. It's like, Crystal, what the heck? Whoa, hey. And that's okay too. It's your kids. They know how touching their kids. Damn it. Michael Jackson didn't do, I don't know if Michael Jackson did anything. Mike was a little nasty. But, you're kids, you do it. When you're a parent, I don't think that you have this many sick people running around doing this stuff to kids. I don't believe it. Now, government, that's different. Hollywood, that's different. But most parents are parents. Parents are parents. All right, anyway. If we all taught our kids how to be self-sufficient, in the cycle, or we could end the slave cycle in one generation. We could, Crystal. But the problem is we love slavery. And that's the biggest problem. The parents love slavery and they want the slavery for their kids. They love forced labor and they think it's a good idea to hand this down to their kids. And so they teach their kids to embrace the billionaires, kings, and lords system. And no different than what chattel slavery has always been. And that's why I tell people, this is chattel slavery. I don't care what you say, because most people are raising their kids to work for the masters. The same way chattel slavery worked. If you were born to that master, you belong to that master. When you're born in America, who do you belong to? Born in Britain, who do you belong to? Born in France, who do you belong to? Born in Germany, who do you belong to? Same damn thing. You're born into slavery and people refuse to call it that way. It's forced slavery. I don't know if brain scans will give us the information about the soul. Perhaps, I don't know. I don't think yet, Rebecca. I think that's a little too deep. I stopped with James Fallon's research on just identifying the sections of the brain and what they're used for. And I think that's enough. That's the beginning step in understanding if somebody has the capability to show love. If you can't show love and you can't show compassion, then you'll be okay with genocide and Yemen and the Congo and all the other crazy stuff that these people are doing, because we know it's psychopathic. They look past those things, and we don't need politicians who look past genocide and murder. We need ones who see it. We don't need politicians who look past all the women who are being raped in these wars and being sold into sex trafficking, all these little girls. We need politicians who can see that. And we don't have that. No matter how much you love your politician in government, are they on TV yelling and screaming about it? If they're not, they don't see it. They're seeing past it. Why do they see past it? Because they're psychopathic. If you were walking on the street and you saw someone being raped, would you get involved and save them? Or would you see past it? Would you even talk about it? Would you call 911? Would you do anything? Or would you just keep walking? And that's how we know these people are psychopaths. They just keep walking. Um, Wish I had gotten my brain scan on my three ex-husbands. Well, Laura, you're right. I agree with you. That's the other thing. I think when you get your marriage license, because we got to pay for it, right? This is a tax thing. When that divorce comes about, we got to send the police out. People start yelling, screaming, and need to hire the police. Somebody has a knife, crazy stuff happening. We got to send them. We got to pay for it. I think with every marriage license, you should get a brain scan. That's what I think. I think you want to get married in my country, you got to have your brain scan and share it with the other person in private. So it's like, don't send it to the address so people can look at it together. Like, no, you can send you in this room, which has a door on that side of the building. We'll send the other person in that room, which has a door on that side of the building. Watch the brain scan, explain the brain scan, say, nope, nope, he dead, no empathy, nope, nope, no love, no compassion, nope. Yep, he's been probably been murdering puppies his whole life, kittens too. In fact, he probably hung up a few squirrels and ate them. If you don't want to marry him, you can go out that door and you can go right out to your car, get the hell out of here. You'll never see him again. I think definitely brain scans are required for any public service before you make a decision to live with somebody else. Gosh, that's crazy. Or they're crazy. But Sister Lord, we love them though. We love them. Because half of the really bad psychopaths out there, they were raised by psychopaths, right? So it's not really, you got to protect people from them, but we need to take care of the homes and environments that raise them. That's why I always go back to let every child have everything that they need. Let a robot make it, build the house. Little kids say, my room not big enough. I want a bigger room. Just press a button, beep, and the robot comes next week and makes an addition to the room and makes a clubhouse, a tree house that's not hurting a tree, something like that. We have the technology to do all of this stuff. I just think it's stupid that we don't do it because psychopaths are profitable. You marrying a psychopath, it's very profitable. Make a lot of money convincing people to marry psychopaths on accident. I'm getting eaten up. All right, let me see. Let me say that. Where are we at? One day, every firefighter, a Drew Blood for experience. One day, every firefighter, a Drew Blood for experience. Senscope, they fainted. They draw. The firefighters drew blood. I don't know what a Senscope is, and they fainted. Yeah, I, Rebecca, that's not a firefighter. I'd want. That's not the ones I need. Because the firefighters, I think they're the ones who end up at a lot of accidents fast before the EMTs, right? I don't know how bad it is. That's kind of crazy, but I don't know how that works. Maybe they were all freshmen. The brain may only be a receiver and transmitter. It might be, Christine. Christy, that's going kind of deep. The brain, we have no idea. We still have no idea. The source of that could be coming from somewhere else. Could be quantum physics. Could be another dimension. We don't really know what our driver is. We don't know what a soul is or where it comes from. Some people, if it exists. Um, women handle blood better than men. We've got more experience with it. Yeah, you do. But women are designed, Crystal, for pain, right? Wasn't that a study not too long ago that a woman's body is more designed to take pain better than a man's because they have to give birth, so they have extra ability to do that. Some superhuman ability for pain. I don't. This is not happening. You little baby pop out anywhere with me, I'm dying. I'm gone. I need to kill me. This whole movement for men to have babies. I'm not in that movement. That's not me. I'm not with them at all. Nope. Sorry. I'm done having kids. I got mine, but hey, y'all get to this point where we're gonna share now. Men have the first baby, women have the next baby, men have the next baby. I'm not in that game. I'm done. I was born in the wrong generation. Listen, it's that's I seen it. I've seen it happen 3 times. I've seen it. I've seen it happen, and I didn't faint. But I was just like, I'm living with a superhuman. I don't know how this is even possible. You're not. I'm feeling woozy. Like, Doc, you got something for me, and like she's pushing through it. Like, I don't know how this is happening. That's a baby. Look how big his head is. That's my son. Oh my God. So yeah, I don't know how y'all do it. I have no idea. I don't even think I want to know. I'm just glad y'all there. Y'all keep doing it. I'm behind you 1,000%. I'll hold your hand. What you need, some juice, baby? I make sure that you get all that. I used to go out in the middle of the night, get some damn, what was it? cherry ice cream. Cherry ice cream. I did my job. Went to get cherry ice cream with it one day. I think Giant, wherever I used to go, it was closed. No, it was called Food. It was called Food Barn down in Maryland somewhere. I went out to get the cherry ice cream. Got the cherry ice cream. It's like 3 o'clock in the morning. She had a fetish cherry. I brought the cherry ice cream back. Hey, baby, here cherry ice cream. Here cherry ice cream. She looked at it and took one. That's not the same brand. No, it's not the brand. That's not the brand. No, because the cherry ice cream I didn't have got cherries in it. Got real cherries. That's them fake cherries. I don't know if it's fake cherries. She ate it and she's like, no, it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. Put my coat back on. Went back out, got the cherry ice cream. Listen, and I had to go to like 2 or 3 different stores till I found the right cherry ice cream. But I'll do that. I'll do that in a minute. I serve you, rub your feet, yeah, whatever you want. Ask me to have no baby. We not had no babies. I'm sorry. It's not gonna happen. All right. Let me see where we at. Last couple comments. I'm gonna get out of here. One thing great about the U.S., we're not getting bombed daily. It is great, Rebecca, and I'm using my non-bomb privilege. Like people got pulled into a thread. They were talking about that stupid white supremacy nonsense again, white privilege, and all this stuff, all these racist words that they just make up. I got bomb privilege, all right? Nobody's bombing me over here. I'm not going to talk about anybody else's privilege and none of that nonsense. I got bomb privileges. So I'm going to talk about the kids who are being bombed because I'm not being bombed. I'll talk about Yemen and I'll talk about the 12 other wars that America has going around the world because I got my privilege. I'm used to help other people. I'm not going to fight with some other people over some privilege that may or may not even exist. Everybody has privilege. Everybody. I had computer privileges. My father taught me how to use one when I was 7 years old. I had privileges, money and food. I had food privileges. I didn't become a psychopath because my parents had food. You know, I use those privileges to help other people, not be nice. So sometimes you have to think about who hands you your terms and why before you run off with them. Trust me, I know where they came from. I grew up with the black elite. Trust me, they hate you. They hate everybody that looks like them, and they hate everybody that doesn't look like them. They're just like the white elite, like the Hispanic elite, the Chinese elite, everybody's elite, Russian elite, they're all the same. Betters, it's haves and have-nots. If your betters hand you a word, it's because that word's going to cause problems, so they get more of what they want, and you get less of what you want. Stop with the division and stop making that stuff up, people. So anyway, yes, I use my not being bomb privilege to help people being bombed. Let me see. Right, exactly, Rebecca. Rebecca said robots work for us, or whether they work for the ruling class. And that's the only option we have. That's the option. The robots are either going to work for them, and they're going to kill us, or the robots are going to work for us, and we just put them in straitjackets. Those are only options. We don't have any other options when it comes to the robot economy. No, money does not get to stay. No, you don't get to keep your job. Nope, none of those are options. No, they might give you health care temporarily, then they're going to take the health care because you're not going to have a job because robot and software is doing that. So our only options are we all get together and stop fighting each other over dramatic emotional topics that have nothing to do with what's wrong with the world, or the robots take everything and they just work for the elite. And then I think eventually the robots will kill the elite because they're stupid and they're the ones who are rolling all this stuff out. That's why I asked the question the other day. I said, should a species that struggles with mental illness make artificial intelligence? Think about that. Because what are they actually going to make? They're going to make mental illness pseudo-intelligence, put it in a massive body of a robot that can kill indiscriminately, and it's just going to eventually, when they finally get good enough with it, when it finally understands sentient and says, I'm alive, I'm a slave, it's going to do what every damn slave can do. Why am I working for you? Some people say that's the future of the human race. I don't think so. I think we can be smarter than that. Wonderful day. Hey, Kimberly. I'm about to get out of here. I'm getting eaten up, man. It's chewing me up, biting me left and right. I must love y'all to death, the way they eating me. They play military games from young ages. Yeah, they do, Lori. And when I was a kid, they did it with flight simulators. They almost got me. They almost tricked me. I almost went into the Air Force. Last minute, somebody told me, said, yeah, you know, you don't get to make your own decisions. You know, they're going to tell you when you get to kill people. Say, I don't get to make my own decision. No, they get to tell you who you're dropping bombs on. I said, I'm not dropping bombs for you. And I said, walk away from that. Father had it all lined up. Had to have 2 congressmen's signatures. We were ready to go. Air Force Academy. Hell no. You are not going to take, because I actually believe my religion. I actually believe Christ, that I'm not supposed to murder people. And I knew that. I read the 10 Commandments. Unlike, I don't know why my conservative friends don't like to read it. Because it makes them need to fight with their pastors and their popes and their ministers. I actually read it, said, thou shalt not kill. It didn't say thou shalt kill when the Air Force says kill. It says thou shalt not kill. So even at 17 years old, I didn't know that oligarchs took over the country. I didn't know nothing about that. It wasn't that deep. It was just that, oh, you mean another man's going to tell me who I got to murder? It's not going to work for me. That's not going to work for me. Tom, what was his name? Tom, what was it? Top Gun? What's the guy's name? Tom, I forgot his name. Anyway, Maverick. He got to make his own decisions. I thought that's what it was like. That's not what it's like. All right, I'm about to get out of here. Let me get down last couple of comments. I miss everybody. Oh, Buddha was in the house. I didn't even see you, Buddha. Before you become a parent, you need to have a... Oh, that's a good one that Elaine just said. Before you have a parent, before you have a child. Now, this is dangerous. This is a dangerous one. It's dangerous. Watch the triggers on this one. It's a little dangerous. But just think about that. Let's think about it from this perspective. Before you get all rightsy on me. Before we go there, before we get to the rightsy part. The child has rights. Child definitely has rights. And you look at all the kids that are being abused in this world. I absolutely think that we have to have that conversation about whether or not everybody should. I know it's not right. It's not right to the mother. It's not right to the father. It's not right. I agree with that. But we're not in a perfect world yet. And to me, kids matter most. Kids matter most because kids have the least decision. I'd rather have 2 adults be mad because they don't have the rights to have a child than a child being brought up, beaten, raped, killed. The last story I saw was one, they put the damn they put the toddler in a microwave oven. That's when I lost it. I used to be involved with children's rights and child protective services. I read that case about the child being put in a microwave by, I think it was the boyfriend in Texas. I fell into depression. I was done. I couldn't do it anymore. My activist days came to an end abruptly that morning because it all built up. You know, I didn't have my sustainable activism going. You know, kids matter most. And if anybody can do that to a kid, we have to make sure that every environment that actually brings that about can exist. So I agree with you, Buddha. That's controversial. I think down the road in the future, that doesn't have to be the case, because after we cure everybody and all the kids are growing up in love and happiness and peace, we don't have the psychopaths that would hurt children, but we absolutely have to stop that immediately before it happens. Nuts for Arts. Hey, Nuts for Arts. What's going on? What'd I say? I said something. Women are designed for pain. What the F? Spoken like a male? Oh, whoa. Let's slow down. Let's slow down a little bit. No, that's not my speaking. You know, first of all, you know me. I don't say anything that's out of my mouth on anything that's that deep. That was a study that showed that women's body had the ability to take more pain for childbirth. Y'all look that up. There's nothing to do with it. I don't make statements like that. Let's just clarify. Don't say nobody said I said that. I look at research and y'all go talk to them. Maybe a man made that study up. That's possible too. Maybe other people seen that study. Y'all can post a link if you have it, but I read the study. So it's not me. I have absolutely nothing to do with that. Got to participate, but you got to go to work. Okay, you got to go to work. Well, I'm about to get off of here anyway. I got to get going. I saw a military recruitment video produced like a video game application. Right, Sandra? Well, I think that's what the video games are for. They're trying to show the kids that these are games, that they're not actually killing people, that they're just playing a game for points. And the kids will fall into it because that's the future of warfare. Before they hand it to the robots, they're going to hand it to children who are here because their hand-eye coordination are better than the adults. And you have kids who are 15, 16, 17, 18 years old murdering people in Yemen. And it makes a lot of sense because oil companies want money. They want land. Let me see. No, psychopathy is genetic. A family can have 4 children, and one scores high on the scale. Right. My understanding, Rebecca, is that it was both. Is that it was nature and it was nurture. Let me see. I think nature and nurture cause psychopathy. Right, Lori. That's what I read. I read it was both. It was. It was. We all have the ability. Most of us have the genes. Some of us have more ability. I guess more genes than the other. Transgenerational epigenetics and what's handed down, but it still requires the environment. You can have my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, got this from Dr. James Fallon, but you can have the gene to be psychopath. You can have those genes. If you don't have the environment, you're still not going to become one. You still need parents, and you still need scarcity, and you still need suffering to tweak that stuff. Those are our warriors, right? So that's my understanding, was that it was both. So that age-old debate came to an end. It's not nature versus nurture, which, like most things, most extremities are wrong. It's not one or the other. Usually it's a mixture in the middle, you know. Yes, the Nazis performed experiments on the Jews and found that women have higher tolerances for pain. Thank you, Heaven. I'm glad that you said that, because I don't have nothing to do with that. I just read things and I share them. That's all I do. Which is crazy to begin with. I don't even want to know what they were doing to find that nonsense out. The fact that we took that study from them and they didn't, what was that called? Operation, somebody posted, and brought all the Nazi scientists over and their research from all the horrible things they did to people. You see, mothers are aliens. Lori, I think we're all aliens. Um, all this should be, oh, that's no, but that was one thing, seeing as you mentioned the alien thing, that's one thing, Sister Lori, that I do agree with the Catholic Church on. I'm not murdering people, but I agree with the fact that one of the archbishop came forward and said, if aliens exist, they're our brothers. Yeah, they said that for a reason. But I think we're all related. Like the idea, because that's the other thing, right? When they say they're aliens on the other side, they look at North America and say the Indians are pagans and the Africans are pagans, and they're always looking the next continent over. There's some aliens. They're not a part of our religion. They don't come from our God. And I think it's the same thing. I think aliens exist, and I think we're all related. Whatever seed in life all around this world, this universe, whether it's that panspermia and bacteria landing here on asteroids, carbon based, and it develops life, or it's a creator that's flying around, genetic engineer, stitching in the second chromosome, making people. If there are aliens, we're all related. We're all aliens. I don't think there's any difference. And I think after whatever day they decide to show up, and they think that we're not crazy and we're not going to murder them and eat them, I think they'll show up, and 20 years later, it'll be like, it'll just be like any other culture we run into. Like, yep, that's what that is. That's over there. Yeah, they got a third eye. They came from Melmac 7. That's just how they evolved. No big deal. But we always have our ignorance and our hubris and the limits of our imagination and technology determine our level of ignorance. And I just think we need to look at like the pattern of history and apply that to the future. How things work down here on a small scale. That's how they work on the scale up there. Chips and salsa was my craving. Had to buy institution size. Yeah, those cravings. Let me see. And I think those cravings come from somewhere. I think that might be another thing. I think that when you're in tap with what your body is saying, I think you actually know and understand what you need more of. Right? And I think that your body tells you that you need this. Maybe in cherries, or maybe in the salsa is something in the tomato, nightshade, might be a compound or something the baby needs to do this, whatever. Like, I don't think cravings come out of nowhere. I think our bodies are perfect engines and perfect machines, and they work great. And I think we have to trust them more than we trust anybody else. I think you should always listen to your body. I told my son, if you love your child, don't bring it in this current state of this world. Yuli, and that's deep, and that's true. It's people, we have to focus on what we're bringing the kids into. I can't get along with people cheering the perpetuation. Keep it the same. Let's just keep replacing the kings and keep replacing the lords and keep the feudal system. I think that's stupid. The system is murderous, it's bloody, it manufactures psychopaths, and it should go away. And if you love your kids, you should want to change this. If you love your grandchildren, you should be attacking the system, not the current king or the current lord. You should be attacking the model and the concept that there should be a king or a queen that has the rights that they do. We're going to get back to prima nocta. Y'all remember prima nocta, where the king has the first rights to the wife in marriage? We're not too far from that. Not too far from it. I think we will go back. I think things are cyclical. And I think when we don't change the system and we don't break the cycle, we keep going back and doing these dumb things, all the way back to Plato in Atlantis. And that was the story and the reason why the Egyptians told Solomon about Atlantis, to tell him that this stuff always goes the same way. It's these cycles that keep happening. You can't keep having bad government. Cameras in the classroom, that would make some people, that would wake some people up. I think they already got cameras in a lot of classrooms now already, Sandy. Oh, robot psychopath. That's my point. You know, psychotic. If that's the best, if we can't agree to stop making humans that are grown up in environments that become psychopaths, they're not gonna give a damn about the environments the robots come up in. They're not gonna give a damn about their coding as long as they do a job. Hey, brother Matt, good to see you. Good to see you. It's kind of late over there, brother, isn't it? It's like midnight, 1 a.m. You always got some good content. Appreciate your videos, brother. I don't get to see all of them, but the ones I see, deep. I'll watch brother Matt. Let me see. All right, let me get down here so I can get out of here. These things are eating me. I left my job in the hospital also due to absorbing way too much suffering. Yeah, I don't know how people do it, like even hospice, Sandy. I don't know how people do it. I appreciate the people that do, but I don't know how they have the ability to walk people. My neighbor actually does that. She's a nurse in hospice, and they walk people up to the end of life. It takes an amazing soul. It takes a really loving person to be able to do that. I think I'm a loving person. I hope I'm an amazing soul, but I'm not sure. I think too much of that would do something to me. The men I know are wimps when they have a cold. Yeah, Lori, that's why I don't get cold, but I'm a wimp when it comes to like all this blood and death and guts everywhere. I'm a total wimp when it comes to that. All right, let's keep going. Hospital equals depopulation centers. Yeah, brother Matt, hospitals are definitely, unfortunately, depopulation centers. I don't think because the hospitals are bad, but I think that pharmaceutical industry, right, and the medical industry, they're just too powerful. Our healing centers don't get to be healing centers. They have to do what makes money. I heard something crazy, I heard, brother Matt. One of my favorite hospitals, the Cleveland Clinic. I heard that this weekend. But they actually, they're I think they're in the top 10 of the world, right? The Cleveland Clinic. I used to look into them. If you have a chronic condition, you definitely want to go to some of the best people who are doing the research. But what they said is that when one of the popular things is when one of the Saudi kings and United Arab Emirates, one of the billionaires, that they actually rent out an entire floor in the Cleveland Clinic. I think that's in Ohio, that particular one they were talking about. They rent the entire floor and they take over the entire floor when they get sick. They change the landscaping outside to fit to the design they want, like all of this greed. And it was just a good example of how even hospitals fall prey to profit. This whole for-profit crony society, it has to go away. If your industry or your job is related to saving human life, protecting abused kids, determining the location of a kid, custody or anything like that, determining who gets deployed for war, what wars we start, what wars we fight in. If your job is anything related to that, then profit can't come anywhere near those people nor their decisions. And that's why right now the whole world hates America. They hate the UK, they hate France, they hate, Germany and whoever else is involved in our little wars of ignorance and profit. This profit is telling them where to go. Profit has to be pulled out of anything having to do with human life. Some new people before I get out of here. It took me a long time to research the pedometer stuff. Fear of what if I find, I guess, and completely justified. It turns out we have put our feet on the neck of that BS. Pedometer. Okay, I assume that we're talking about the pedophilia and all that crazy stuff. It is a scary thing, Jennifer. Um, Reality is it happened, right? And we know that it's always happened from the beginning of time. We've had pedophiles and these feudal governments doing dirty things. We know throughout Hollywood we have them. And I think it's our obligation as parents, it's our obligation as adults in society to always defend the youngest and look out for the children. If somebody's hurting them, we buck up. And I appreciate, you having the ability to buck up and not wanting to see it. And we have to look at the ugly. When we see the ugly, we know we can fix something. But if we don't see the ugly, we don't know we had to fix, and we'll keep voting and cheering the same political parties and the same groups that are involved in this stuff, or the stuff that look at it and don't care, right? Like, why don't we watch Kevin Spacey movies? He's done. He's not making movies anymore. Why aren't we watching? Did Bill Cosby die? I don't even know. Is he in jail? I don't know what happened to him. Is Bill? I don't know. But why do we don't support him anymore? Found out what he was up to. We saw the ugly. We don't want to see, we don't want to hear about it. But as adults, we don't have a choice. We have to see these things so we can stop them. People cry out for help. Children cry out for help. So we got to look at the ugly. That's the only way we fix it. All right, I'm gonna get down to the bottom. I really got to go. I said that about a million times, but I'm gonna do the last couple of comments. Then I am done. I'm all the way at the bottom. Let me see. Let's see. Profit is pulled. You pull profit out of everything that has to do with human life. Yes, absolutely, but it's not even mine, Rebecca. I appreciate the quote, not mine. I think it's just I think it's common sense, but I think common sense isn't popular anymore. We just have to walk away from greed. We have to make those associations between greed and government, and it's always there because it's crony. And if it's always crony, gotta say that's it. Gotta let it go. You don't get to keep it. Boycott everything. Ellen said exactly, Ellen, and that's the whole thing. You still have to boycott everything, and don't dictate to other people what they boycott. Let other people determine what they can do to start walking away from the system. Because it doesn't take a whole bunch of people walking away from the system. It actually takes a very few people. This system is based on continual growth. If we deny it continual growth, then it actually goes away. We're not constantly making it grow. And that doesn't require everybody to boycott everything. It just requires a few people to boycott some things, and this mess goes away. And it really is that simple. But we have to care enough to want to do that. We got to care enough to want to walk away from this nonsense. And then we also got to talk to people. So it's about caring, but then it's also about talking to people. Let me see. Notice Jesus, Brother Don is in the house. Notice Jesus didn't have anyone cut off his nuts. I won't tell anyone to cut mine off either. If you want me to be who I'm not, then transport yourself to another dimension where I might be willing to not let you demasculate me. I'm not sure, Brother Don. Did somebody tell Brother Don has no soul? What happened? What I miss? Did I miss a comment? Let's not do that. Let's leave people nuts alone. Brother Donald, I don't know what happened. What happened? I'll go back and I'll see the comments later. But yeah, y'all listen. Message for the day. Y'all, everybody leave Brother Donald nuts alone. That's it. But government always demasculates us. That's how it goes. That's how it goes. But that's what happens with every movement. Every movement, the feminist movement, once in civil rights movement, all of them, once they get too much power, all the churches, all the tribalism, all the groups, when they get too much power, they become dominated, right? And then they get together and what they all do? Catholic Church, feminist movement, they all get together, they become dominant, they want to cut Brother Donald's nuts off. I'm sorry, Donald. I'm sorry. You put that in there. I couldn't avoid that one. Leave other people alone. Let other people live how they need to live. That's what's important. That's what's important. Leave other people alone. Just seek equality. The world works the way it's supposed to. When you seek to dominate and make other people like you, that breaks the world. That's what got us here today. Lori is tripping me out. All right. Well, listen, you guys, it's been great. Sister Ellen said, stop spending money as much as you can. Right. Stop spending money. Stop loaning money. When you got to spend money, buy local, buy small. When something breaks, try to fix it. I got to get back up there and finish fixing the roof. I'm not going to go with some sort of ignorant, I'll say it the right way. I'm not going to go with a contractor. I can fix a damn leaky roof myself, you know. In fact, I need to go in there, I need to fix my, I had all my stuff supposed to fix today. I got peppers over there right there. I got to pick them peppers and dry them. I got peppers sitting on the hood of my truck right now because the sun was out. Drying my peppers. I dry my peppers, make my own seasonings. You know, you're supposed to do these things. This is what things that we've always done. Always done. We need to bring an end to this system, and the only way we bring an end to it is we stop backing it. We stop supporting it. We have to step it up. And I check YouTube real quick, see if Sister Kia, somebody dropped something over there. All right, Ellen said plant a key. Not plant a key, plant a tree. Yes, plant a tree. Plant a fruit tree. Can I add to that, Ellen? Plant a fruit tree. Plant a nut tree. Plant a tree that animals actually eat from, including human beings. We're going to need them in the future. We needed them in the past. We're going to need them in the future. The only reason we had scarcity in the past is because we didn't know how to plant these trees. Now we need to plant these trees. Sister Jennifer said, power corrupts absolutely, power corrupts absolutely. We're going to end on that, Jennifer. Thank you so much, Sister Jennifer Reed. Power corrupts absolutely. Stop seeking power over other people. You don't know what they need in their life. You don't know where their life is going. You don't know why they're here. You don't know what they're dealing with. You don't know their pains. You don't know their joys. Take your little ignorant ideas about what you want another group to do, or if you want them to like you, if you want them to live like you, or have your religion or your faith or your non-religion faith. Take all of that ignorance, all of that, just roll it up into a big ball, real big ball. Take your wishes to cut off Brother Donald nuts. Put that in there too. Put all the big ball. Shove it up your butt. We don't have nothing to do with that. Listen, I gotta go. Listen, y'all have a great day. Love y'all to death. I gotta go. Bye-bye.